So some of you have probably already seen this the other day, but it looks like our beloved Apple, our beloved company, did actually end up getting sued. And I looked at this at a lot of different angles, and I really don't know how I feel about it. I do agree in some ways that Apple does kind of do some like monopoly type of situations. We've been covering them for a long, long time now, so this is kind of expected. But I also feel like in some ways that, there's really not too much Apple can do here, but I also do feel like there is a pretty big, thing that Apple has kind of done for their whole entire life, which is closing off their ecosystem, as you probably would have guessed it. Now, what this lawsuit from the Department of Justice from the United States is actually applying or implying within Apple, they're basically stating that Apple has some sort of monopoly over phones and I guess iPhones in general. So they're saying it is an antitrust case, and they're saying the iPhone, has a monopoly over the phone market that could, that has harmed consumers, developers, and rival companies. Now, they're also stating, I guess, and I'm reading this from CNBC, they're saying that Apple's ecosystem, from the Apple Watch to Apple Pay, supports that monopoly, and they're saying that their walled garden approach has actually caused more damage to other phone manufacturers, and they actually imply that the demise of other phone companies and other phone manufacturers actually kind of was caused by Apple. Now, I think there are some things that are true, but also at the other hand, I look at companies like Samsung and all these other companies, like even Google with Google Pixel. They're able to, still create a lot of money for those particular devices and still, have a lot of, sales for those devices too. Maybe not as many as iPhones in this particular market, but across the world, the iPhones aren't even the number one selling devices. A lot of other Android phones, top iPhones in sales in other countries. So I do find it hard, and I do understand this is a US lawsuit, but that is just one thing to kind of keep in mind, that the total world shares are different. Clearly in the United States, I would still say that iPhones are number one, in terms of sales. And the big reason for this, I would say, is just, what Apple was able to kind of market their particular device as. Now, if Apple has some interesting features within their iPhone, like iMessage and all these other things, it'd be great if they licensed them out. But these features within iPhones and Apple's, ecosystem, I don't think they're necessarily a walled garden approach in that case. If they want to open source and give it out to, Androids, then that's fine. But I think the big thing here is thinking about it in terms of the actual devices themselves. When you have an iPhone, that is Apple's making the iPhone, it's going to have features. Same thing with Androids. I think side loading was the biggest thing Apple was kind of creating for their developers. That was a really big issue. But I do think these other things, even Apple Watch to Apple Pay, I don't know if that is that big of a monopoly, considering those are just Apple features. There's a lot of things that Android has that, with Google Wallet, I don't think, or Samsung Wallet, those things aren't really on iPhones, although maybe you can access them a different way. But also I heard somebody say this very interesting kind of, thing where they basically stated with gaming consoles, is it a monopoly that you can't play PlayStation discs on, inside of an Xbox and vice versa? I kind of had, somebody, I think I read it on Reddit, and that was a very interesting take to this whole thing too. So I'd love to hear your thoughts about this. Let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.